Well, good morning, Pathfinders and Adventurers. What an amazing year you have had. Thank you so much for sharing all the photos and all of that. And you know what? We're really proud of you for all the work that you've done, all the awards you've achieved, all the honours that you've done, been invested, everything. But you know what? We don't run Adventurers and Pathfinders just so that you get nice pins on your sash or so you get to dress real fancy like I am right now. In fact, some of your parents come and whispered in my ear today and said, "Never seen you in a tie before." And I was like, that's right, don't get used to it. But you know why we run Pathfinders Investitures? Because we just want you to know Jesus. That's all we really want, right? All the honours and the awards, that's really special, that's really nice because you can learn things. But above all, we want you to know Jesus. And that's really why we run this amazing ministry. So we've had heaps of fun. We've had Adventure Rally and Fun Day with big colour fight. And some parents are still mad I got their shirt stained. And we had an awesome camporee, which was lots and lots of fun. But I want to share a little message with you. Was there someone going to do a scripture reading just in case I'm going ahead? Yeah? Should I call them up? Oh, yeah. Am I following the program good right now? Okay, that's good. Yeah, boys, I don't want to take your job off you.
The scripture reading for today is found in Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works to the good of the others who love him and who has been called according to his purpose.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. Good job. Thank you very much, boys. So that was Romans chapter 8, verse 28. It said, "But we know this, that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, according to his purpose." So I want to share a story with you. Now, you're as good Pathfinders. You know, you seem like very capable people. As good adventurers, all the amazing awards you've achieved. But, you know, when I was growing up, I wasn't a very good Pathfinder or adventurer, right? I was one of those kids where the teacher in the class was like, "Can you just wait outside just a little bit longer so I can gather my thoughts and my emotions right now?" Right? That was kind of like me. But I always find myself getting into the wrong situation. Now, I have a very lovely wife. Her name is Raquel, and she's very wise, right? And I need to learn to listen to her a little bit more, okay? So there's two instances. The first one, right, was I had to get a roadworthy check on a car. And the guy came to my house to give me a roadworthy check, and he goes, "It's all good except for one thing." I said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" He goes, "You need new tyres." And I looked at the car tyres, and they were all cracked and almost crumbly like that. And I said, "Nah, what are you talking about? They're only 20 years old. There's plenty of tread left on them." And he's like, "Nah, you need new tyres." And I was like, "Nah, come on. I'll be good for it, I promise." And he's like, anyway, so I just did a bit of wheeling and dealing with him. And he goes, "Right, here's your roadworthy certificate." Anyway, so my lovely wife, she's always giving me good advice. Like, "Christos, don't forget, you got to get new tyres for the car." And I was like, yeah. I'm just going to wait for a sale to come on because it's all about saving money, right? So waiting for the sale to come on. And then I'm even having dreams about getting a new set of tyres on this car. I was like, nah, wait for the sale, we've got to save money, all right? It's still got heaps of tread. I had to drive all the way to Billawheeler from Brisbane. Has anyone ever been to Billawheeler before or heard of it? Some of you have, and a lot of you haven't. So it's inland from Rockhampton. And so we're driving all the way. It's like 6 hours away. We're driving in the car. It's hot. It's around this time of year. It's really hot. It's really sunny. And then the youth leaders at Bundaberg call me on the phone, "Come to our house for dinner. We got Vespers on." I was like, "No worries, I'll pull in for dinner." So we pull into Bundaberg for dinner on the way to Billawheeler, and I hear this massive explosion. And I get out of the car, and guess what I see? My tyre exploded on the side of the road. And I go to my wife, "Oh, we got a flat tyre." She goes, "You reckon? I've only been telling you to get new tyres." This was about 4:45 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. Anyway, it happened at the front of Bob Jane T-Mart. But do you think they want to change a tyre 15 minutes before they're supposed to close? No way. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I changed the tyre, and I was like, really? I don't think we should drive all the way to Billawheeler, because if I blow another tyre, then I won't have any tyres left. And so a very lovely friend of mine in Bundaberg, he goes, just take my car and then stay at my house on Sunday, and you can go to the shop on Monday and get new tyres. But remember why I'm in this situation that I'm in? Because I wanted to save money, right? So took his car, came back, and he's like, okay, now stay at my house. You know, the tyre shops will open on Monday. And you know what I said to him? Nah, I'll be right. I think we'll make it home. All right? And my wife goes, just stay the night. Pastor Rick, some of you know Pastor Rick, he was there next to me, and he goes, do you want me to stay back and follow you in case something happens? I said, nah, you go ahead. I still got a few hours of work here to do. And he goes, all right then, off he goes. And so we start driving home later that day. We get all the way to Noosa. Guess what happens? On the highway. A big bang. And I was like, oh no, this is bad. I said to my wife, we just got another flat tyre. She goes, yeah, we should have stayed in Bundaberg. And I was like, anyway. So I was stuck on the side of the highway with no spare tyre. I was like, what are we going to do? Anyway, lucky one of my uncles came and helped me out. So that was good. But you'd think I'd learn my lesson, wouldn't you? Anyway, go forward about 12 months. So it was actually November last year where this time, right? And we had to drive all the way to Townsville for our family funeral. And I was towing a caravan on the back of the car with new tyres, by the way, just so you know. And so we're getting to Rockhampton, and what I like to do when I drive is I like to calculate how much fuel the car's using as I go along, so I can guess where to stop for fuel to make it more efficient. And so we get to Rockhampton, we stop there the night, and then we start making our way out of Rockhampton towards Townsville, which is where the Cowboys have come from, if you're wondering where that is, right? And we go past the service station, and my wife goes, I think you should fuel up. And I said, yeah, but this fuel here is really expensive. 80 kilometres down the road, there's a big petrol station. It'll be cheaper. Let's go there. Anyway, so we're cruising along, and I forgot to tell you, we got like a 3-week-old baby in the car at this point, right? And so we're cruising along, and then the fuel light comes on, and I'm like, still got heaps, don't worry. And then the car spatters a little bit. I'm like, quick flick to the sub tank. But the light was on that too. And I drove for 10 minutes, and I was like, I think we just ran out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. So I pull off to the side of the road, and we got to turn the car off. So my wife's really mad at me. She won't even talk to me. She's such a lovely person. She puts up with me. Thank you very much, Raquel. But, you know, in the heat, north of Rockhampton with a 3-week-old baby, no aircon because the car can't run, and she wouldn't even talk to me. And I was like, I'll call RACQ. They'll drop me off 20 litres. RACQ is like, yeah, but the only problem is you're outside the area where we would normally drive to. That'll be another $10 per kilometre. And I was like, that's not going to work. I was trying to save money. And so Raquel, my wife, goes, I've got $50 cash in my wallet. Do you know what cash is? Yeah? Do any of you have cash? Yeah? All right. So she goes, I've got $50 cash in my wallet. Go on your two-way radio and ask someone for some fuel. So that's what I did. And within like 30 seconds, these old farmers pull up. And they go, you got yourself in a bit of trouble here, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, what a rookie, eh? And they're laughing at me. Anyway, and so they're like, well, come on, we'll go get fuel for you. So I jump in the car and off we go. And they take me to the fuel station I was aiming for, which was a half an hour away. And then they turn around and drop me back. And as we're driving back to the car with the caravan, they start to tell me things about their life. And these were farmers. They got really tough farmers. They were a lot older than what I was. And she tells me how she had a really bad accident on the farm and nearly died. And she's got permanent injuries for the rest of her life. And it was really sad, and they're talking to me about the hard things that they've gone through. And we get back to the car, and I said, oh, here's some money that I owe you. Here's money. And they go, please, we were so happy to help you. We don't want your money. And I said, but I just wasted like an hour of your day. You have to let me give you some money. Please let me give you some money. And they said, no, we're so happy that we could help you. And so I said to them, well, if you won't take my money, can I at least say a prayer for you? And they said, yeah, we would love it if you prayed for us. So there we were on the side of the highway, my favorite place to be, right? And I put my arms around them and I prayed a special blessing on this farming couple. And I prayed for their families to be blessed, for their farm to be blessed. I prayed for them to experience peace, and I prayed for them to come to know the love of God. And if you know anything about farmers from the bush, they don't like hugging people, right? They like handshake, look you in the eye, right? That's the only way to get a job, right? Firm handshake, look someone in the eye. All right, always remember that. This was the type of people that they were. But when I said amen, this farmer, he was crying. They had tears coming down their eyes. And I was like, what have I done? And then he doesn't shake my hand. He comes up to me and he gives me a big hug. And we're on the side of the road and they're crying and said, thank you so much. And off they went. And I got back to my car and I said, see, Raquel, God wanted us to run out of fuel. Right? That's right. And you know what she said? No, God just knows how to use stupid people. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. But the Bible text said that everything always works out for the good of those who love the Lord. And you will find yourself in situations, sometimes because it's your own fault, and sometimes it's not your fault. But if you just keep trusting in God and keep being available to God, keep surrendering to God and saying, God, use me every single day, even when we make foolish decisions like I'm really good at, or even if we make really wise decisions that don't turn out well for whatever reason, God will always use anything for his good, no matter how much it may hurt at the time. And so I'm going to end with that story there. And I want to invite Pastor Graham up to the front.